Okay. Did it work? I'm hoping it worked. Somebody tell me this works. I think I figured it out now. How to get to the control room. Apparently, I need to get to the control room to control and actually do one of these. So, unlike last time, I'm hoping I'm good. Somebody throw me like a thumbs up here if we got solid audio levels. You can see me. I'm hoping 15 people. All right. Happy Thursday. Starting to get into this whole live Q&A thing. It's pretty good. Thank you, Joshua, Jeff, Trail Action. You know I'm ready. I was born ready, Jack. So yeah, these have been fun. I'm digging these things. So trying to get in the mix of doing more of these. I wanted to get Rob on here. I will get Rob on for more very soon. It's just he's super busy at work right now, has a lot of stuff going on. So it'll be cool because I'm heading out there at some point next week. And so I'll be able to get him on a few times, try to come up with some topics. So if anybody has anything in particular that they'd love for us to talk about, I have a huge list, but if somebody throws something out that makes sense, I would love to talk to Rob about it. So yeah, Mike, a perfect emoji. It's been freezing cold here, so I'm sure everybody who's watching is familiar with what's going on. It's in the grand scheme of things, it has not been anywhere near as bad here as it has been in like Texas. We came from Texas. We have a lot of friends and family in Texas, and it's pretty rough down there. So as cold as it is here, I'm definitely thankful that we've had power the whole time and we have been able to deal with the situation up here. So I've been monitoring the weather. I'm hoping that the sun stays out and it brings a little bit of reprieve to Texas and everywhere across the country that is dealing with this crazy, crazy weather. Waking up here, seeing a phone that says negative something degrees. It's just, oh man. Yeah, brutal. Absolutely brutal. So yeah, we've had a pretty good week. A lot of time inside the house, a lot of time in the gym, in the garage. And so that's something else that we'll talk about a little bit more moving forward. So yeah, I'm excited. It looks like Jeff's throwing out a question already. What's the deal with manuals? Practical still or just a way to score style points? Both, Jeff? Can we say both? I think it's practical. How practical, I think, is open to interpretation, but it certainly is a great way to score style points. I think it's worth the time and the effort to learn because it's very much a journey. Manualing comes in many shapes, forms, distances, timeframes, all that stuff. So I definitely think it's worth it just because it's fun. It's a lot of fun to have some confidence in that movement and be able to apply it either like on a flat ground in a parking lot or on the trail somewhere. So I definitely think it's a good thing. And what's funny is Rob and I are going to talk a little bit more about manualing, and I'm going to try to break it down. Some of the things that I think are important for a manual, one of them being strength, just being a stronger person. So you could argue getting better manualing is done in the gym and not on the bike. So yeah, that's a good one. And I definitely think it's worth it. Troy, best brake upgrade for an Ibis Ripmo AF. It's interesting. Maybe bigger rotors, a little bit bigger up front, I think that'd definitely help. Yeah. Mike asked, what squat rack do I have? Dude, I have one from, it's Fringe Sport. It's pretty simple, man. It's a freestanding rack with a pull-up bar. It's got 2 vertical posts that the racks go on. So works pretty good. And if I didn't, man, I'd be doing squats with kettlebells overhead whenever I could. So make the most with what you have. Andrew asks if there's going to be any races in the near future. I hope so. I really do. It's just I'm not really sure what events are going to happen, but we'll kind of decide as things get a little bit closer. Andrew, it's tough because I have to look at it. man, from a revenue standpoint, like doing a clinic or doing a race, it's either make money or spend a decent amount of money. So it's difficult. If we can couple a race with a clinic and maybe a content initiative, I'd like to do it. And that's what we're trying to do. So I hope. I'm trying, really trying. What else do we got? How you getting on regarding COVID? Um, you know, it's interesting. Trying to be as safe as we can and still live a somewhat normal life. So thankfully, it hasn't really affected me personally that bad. So I'm trying to do what I can, like I said, and live a somewhat normal life. So hopefully it'll get better as time goes on. Ooh, March 13th to 20th, Patrick's coming in. You have a 6-year-old that's going to a mountain bike camp. Is that, I'm assuming, Buddy Pegs? So yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that time frame is crazy. We've been booking small groups and private on-trail stuff. I think literally every single day in March. Almost every day in March is booked. April is filling up. May's filling up. So yeah, it's crazy. Josh Walters. Oh, Mr. B, weight workout routine. We're going to talk about that soon. We're trying to figure out exactly how we're going to roll that whole thing out with D Tidwell. So starting next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So stay tuned. Best drop to build confidence in NWA. You know, man, Joshua, I like the one at the bottom of Train, and actually the one at the top of Train is pretty good. So I would say go hit those and play around with those, and they'll get you dialed. Damon wants to know favorite XC trail. Man, Damon, are you talking here, like Oz Trails, or just anywhere? Because here, dude, I'm really digging Tunnel Vision. So Tunnel Vision up on Little Sugar is legit. It's about a 27-mile loop, so I can go from my house, ride it, and come back. I love it. It's fun. But one of my favorite XC trails ever is at a place called St. Crispin's. It's east of Oklahoma City. So anybody who's in the Oklahoma area, they'll know St. Crispin's. It's rad. If you haven't been there, go. If you're ever in the area swinging through, I would definitely check it out. So yeah, Troy, it's hard. I mean, Winter Park of all places, rad, great place to go race. But the other thing too is I don't know, it's hard. Like I like racing, but at the same time, just to be able to go somewhere with my family and ride, hook up with my brother and do some filming. Right now, that's a little bit more what I'm after than thinking about some big races. So we'll see. We'll try to get there. And Andrew, dude, you're going to see some race clinics. Yeah, we're going to try to do that at some point here soon in the next couple of months, just because I think it's important to get a perspective on, especially enduro. But I think this summer we're talking about doing some high-level XC racing clinics, because I raced cross country at the pro level for a couple years, and I have some friends that are some of the best in the country that want to come out and help with that. So yeah, Marsh, check out the Ride Series MTB.com. More clinics up, a couple in April, actually, here in Bentonville. I think we got one going down in the DF Dub area, and we're shooting to get one on the schedule for Houston. So if there are any questions, the Ride Series MTB.com. And you can also send an email to info@the Ride Series MTB. So we're putting together packages for people. You know, I've tried to tell people in different places, if you have a group, if you can put a group together, we will make it work. We'll figure out a way to come out. So we're going to do an event, Southern California here soon. And I'm excited because that's how that happened. Somebody wrote a message. My man, Nick, wrote a little message on Instagram and said, hey, dude, I'd love for you to come out this way. How can we make it happen? And we talked about it, and he put a group together, and we're going to make it happen. So I'm pretty excited about that. And same thing happened, man, up Midwest. So we're looking at June, July, August to do this huge swing through Ann Arbor, Michigan, up into Marquette, through like La Crosse, Wisconsin, some stuff in maybe Duluth, Minneapolis area, and maybe even Des Moines. So if you're in any of those areas, be ready, because we're coming. And then the plan is we're going to head to Utah, do some stuff in Utah and Colorado. So we did an event in Colorado at Ruby Hill Bike Park late last summer, and it was awesome. So I'd love to come out and do one there. Boulder, Troy, man, Boulder. I'd love to do that. Troy, if you could send me a message, info@therideseriesmtb.com. Dude, Boulder's one of my favorite places. So I would love to go there. John, any experience with the Magneg? I don't personally have any experience, but everybody I've talked to has really good things to say, especially mid-stroke support. So I would give it a try. Hannibal, best exercises for MTB. My opinion, reverse chain. So everything you can't see in the mirror. So pulls, deadlifts, things like that. Awesome. Mr. B, dude, I ride XC. I just don't do it spandex style, weasel squeezer style right now, but I love XC. Like I'm into it. I'd love to go do brutal 30, 40, 50-mile rides. So you just wait. We got some stuff. We got some stuff in the hopper for XCs. So yeah. Somebody said Concept 2. You kidding me? Love it. Got the Concept 2 in the garage with the assault bike as well. So yeah, I love that. Like I could live on some deadlift variations, some squat variations, a pull like ring rows. I love ring rows. I do a ton of ring rows and different push-ups, ring rows. And then I'll drop the rings a little bit more and do ring push-ups. So yeah, I love that stuff. We're going to get into that. Just be ready. We're going to talk a lot of training, so I can get all geeked out about that. Yeah, Daniel, I've heard Duluth is legit. I've had a lot of people talk about it. So it's definitely something that I want to get out there and check that part of the country out and do some clinics out there because we've had a lot of people ask about it. So yeah, Troy, awesome, dude. Yeah, reach out because I'd love to make that happen. We're actually trying to put the schedule together now, and it looks like sometime in August. So the hope is maybe spend a month or so in Colorado and do some filming and do some clinics. Yeah, Micah, you like that weasel squeezer? It's my buddy Jeremiah Work. So if anybody doesn't know who Jeremiah Work is, Team Trail Party out of Austin. Guy does some rad events, talking about racing. Their format's pretty cool. You just kind of run as many times as you want and have fun. So we're actually looking to do their event. I think it's the 28th, 29th of May. So the end of May at, oh man, why am I drawing a blank? Windrock. So end of May in Windrock. That's the plan to be there. So actually talking to Andy earlier to come in and do some filming there. We got some initiatives we're after. So yeah, that's the plan right now. So if anybody's looking to make summer trip plans, the end of May, we're going to hit that event, Team Trail Party. So if you check them out on Instagram, Team Trail Party, or just Google it, but it's going to be at Windrock. So it's an enduro, but it's basically a downhill race. You go back, you just go up and down, have fun, and run as many times as you want. So it's rad. It's a cool event. They do some cool stuff. So what else we got? My opinion on night riding, dude. I've already done it a couple times. I'm scared of night riding. It's just something I haven't done. So at some point, I need to try it because a lot of people are doing it now. I can tell you, I'm not doing it when it's this cold. It's way too cold right now. So yeah, when it gets a little warmer, I think we'll hit it. Greg, what's up? My man, Greg Schmidt. He knows deadlifts are where it's at. Greg, extensive strength training background. He knows exactly what to do. So he can talk about how important getting in the gym is to your riding. And actually, Greg is one of the guys that I was going to reach out to at some point. So as we move forward in this, I'm going to get guys like Greg in, a couple others, my man, Saint Fritzy on Instagram. I'm going to try to get him in too, because those are dudes that train and ride. And it's cool to bring guys in like that just to kind of add to what I'm saying about riding and lifting. It's a lot of people have very limited time. And if you only have 5 hours to ride, I would say ride 4 hours and take an hour to do some strength training and some mobility, because I think it'll make that 4 hours of riding way, way more enjoyable. You'll be safer. You'll be much more resilient to injury from a crash or overuse. So I definitely think it's good. So I'm hearing there, somebody saying Enoy. I think that's how you pronounce it. I hope John Megneg's worth the upgrade. So we get a little bit of input there. Yeah, Andrew, any advice on messing with suspension as a new rider? Andrew, again, one of those things that Rob is really going to help with. And we made a video on the Levo SL, so it's going to post here soon. That'll really help you out. My best advice is start with manufacturer specs, start with their settings and go from there. Try to run everything open. So as far as compression, rebound, start in the middle, but go more towards the fast end or less rebound damping and see how that feels. And then you got to think about it a little bit. If you're a heavier guy, for example, the Levo SL, I'm having to run 5 volume reducers up front. So for me at 190 pounds, basically, and somebody who rides pretty hard on a heavier bike, that's what I need. So there are things you can do depending on what you have. So like if you have a DPX2 or an X2, or if you're running a 36 or a Lyric, and depending on what adjustability you have, you're going to do a lot of different things. So at some point soon, this video that we made is good. I watched it. Andy's finishing up the edit now, but the general setup information from Rob, I think, is very good. And then we go out and we do a little testing. So it gives you a peek at what you might want to do when you're trying to figure out how to get it set up. So there's a few things in regards to best practice, and, saying you want it a bit more stiff. Is that right off the top, or do you need it to ramp up? Because for me, that's one thing that's kind of important. If I get it to where it doesn't completely bottom out, and this is the Fox stuff on the SL, it's way too harsh at the top. So I don't know. It's one of those things. Again, I'm not an expert. So we'll get Robin to talk a little bit more about that. Now, Bo, I know it's not MTB, but I'm always down to talk about that. Mine's pretty simple. It's this rack, freestanding rack it's called Fringe Sport. And I got a barbell. I got 140 kilo, like 200 and I don't know, let's call it 275 pounds of weight. I got a set of kettlebells, set of small dumbbells, and that's basically it. I got some rings to hang, and dude, that's all you need. I would say whatever you can find right now. It's difficult because stuff is going for so much money that you got to be a little bit creative to just not spend a ton. So yeah, there's a lot that you can do. Like Dustin said, snatches help a ton with shoulder stability. And, you got to be careful. That's something that that's a pretty high motor recruitment move. So you got to be careful about doing that stuff. You got to make sure you're ready for it. So Marcus, favorite trail name in Bentonville? Man, that's a tough one. I like Hammer Down. Oh, dude, I didn't know he came in there. Hammer Down is a good one, so we're going to stick with that. Chris, that's Gomez who just came in. So we have 2 cats, Gomez and Zoe. So pretty cool. I'm a cat guy. I dig cats, especially now when it's cold. They want to cuddle, and it's pretty awesome. So Brooke, can you put a Fox 38 on a stump jumper? I think so. I don't know why you couldn't. I think some people will. I mean, I'm going to put a Zeb. I got a Zeb to put on my Levo SL. And again, this is a great thing. Stump jumper for DH riding. I think it depends on what sort of downhill riding you're going to do. For me, I can stretch a smaller travel bike far. And I think it matters. What does it look like? I raced my 140, 160, 27, 5-inch wheeled Mach 5 at a few different places. So Glorietta, super fast, high speed stuff. But then I also did it at Winter Park. So Winter Park has some stuff that was pretty chunky. So the downhill at Winter Park, I couldn't just go blasting through it. I had to pick some lines. But Windrock is another case. And somebody could talk if they've been to Windrock. I haven't been there, but I've heard it's pretty gnarly and pretty chunky. So I don't know if that's a case where you'd want to run a smaller travel trail bike on something like that. So true downhill, I think you can get away with something like a pivot Firebird or a Sentinel or something like that. So yeah, a lot of different options. You know, it's tough if you put a 38 on that thing, you give it some more capability up front, but you only have so much in the rear. So that 38 might lull you into doing some things with that bike that maybe you shouldn't. So yeah, good thing to think about. Pez Shred's favorite YouTuber besides yourself. It's funny, you know, it's hard to call myself a YouTuber. I still don't feel like a YouTuber because it's not really my full-time job. And I know there's a lot of people that it's their full-time job. And one of those people is Kyle Warner. So for me, Kyle's my favorite just because he's one of my favorite people in general. He happens to be a YouTuber, but Kyle's just a good dude, just a genuinely good dude. And I like what he's about. He's a great guy. He just wants to help people. He's got an incredible story. So I really like Kyle a lot. Jeff Lanoski's a rad dude. I love hanging out with Jeff quite a bit. I don't know a whole lot of YouTube people. I don't. There's a big guy, a pretty big YouTube guy that's coming into town here in a bit that I'm going to hang out with. And I'm not going to say who it is right now. I'll wait to see if he wants to say something. But yeah, I'd like to do some more stuff with some more people. If you don't know who Danica Fife is, I'm trying to get Danica in here to Bentonville to do some stuff. She's a Fazari rider. She's from the Pacific Northwest. Super cool. Her and her husband seem like awesome people. So I'm trying to get her in to do some stuff. Just go ride around. She's been here before, but it's been a couple years. So to get her back here and check out what's been done and, you know, do some how-tos and do some other stuff, maybe get her to ride with my wife, talk a little bit about her journey as a female rider. So yeah, there's some other people that I'm trying to get into town to do some stuff with, just to kind of help some smaller people, kind of help their platform a little bit and give some more people a voice. You know, it's funny. I'm starting to realize that a little bit more. Like, yeah, I guess I'm a YouTuber, and I'm starting to embrace it now. And I want to try to help some people that have things to say. You know, I've been fairly vocal about some of it. Like, I don't mesh with some of the people out there and some of the things they're doing. And I'm okay saying that. You know, I've tried to be very professional. I represent myself. I represent my family. I won't do anything or say anything on here that I wouldn't want my son to hear. And I also appreciate people who are doing things at a professional level, who are trying to be a positive force in this community somehow, some way. And it's not all people who are great high-level riders. It's just people who are genuine, who are trying to help and trying to do it in the best way they can. And so, again, I just want to play my role in that whole thing. So, yeah, who knows what it's going to look like, really. I didn't think I'd be sitting here doing these right now as much as I am, but I dig it and I would love to keep doing it. So yeah, it's, you know, there might be options. Somebody said something about Bentonville Bike Fest. Everybody, Bo. I'm looking forward to riding with everybody. I just want it to happen, and I'm confident it's going to happen. I'm going to try to manifest it, but I want to ride with as many people as I can. I'm confident that a lot of people are going to come here that maybe haven't been here, or if they've been here, it's been a while. So I want to be able to ride with those people and show them how rad it is. And that's the thing is, Bentonville Bike Fest, you have a lot of people coming in that are higher level riders. And if you're a higher level rider, you've probably ridden all over the world. And Bentonville is very different. It's very unique. So to be able to go ride with those people and show them some of the things that I found, you know, lines that maybe not everybody would see, I really want to be able to do that. So I'm hoping that I can ride with as many people as possible and do as many things as possible. You know, somebody mentioned the GMBN crew is coming out and that I should do something with them. That would be cool. I'd love to do that, but I don't exactly know how to go about doing that. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I know Jeff Lenoski's coming, so I'm going to do some things with Jeff. Richie Schley is coming, so I'll probably ride a little bit with Richie. So yeah, I'm going to do as much as I can. So Caleb, your family's coming up in April. Yes. Any quick advice? Just come up and have fun, Caleb. Shoot me an email, info@therideseries.mtb.com. That'll go to my wife, Sarah, and just say you're looking for some input. We'll throw you a few things as far as direction goes, but you're going to have a blast. I don't think you're not going to get lost. You're going to have a great time. And it's going to be cool. I'd like to help you with a few things outside of riding that might make the trip a little bit better for the whole family. Jason, tried this question last week. I work on digital wayfinding. What apps do you like and what things would you like to see improved? Wow. I'm going to have to think about that one a little bit. Yeah, that's a good question. I'll think about that one. Jeff, surprised your wife with a Canon Spectral on. Dude, I've heard that's a great bike. It's funny. I thought I was going to get some canyons to ride and something happened. I don't know. I've heard that's a really cool bike. So good for you, man. That's awesome. I haven't gotten my wife on an e-bike yet. I think if I do, there's no going back. Although I don't know. She's really into the fitness part of it. So I'd like to get her on one just so we can have a little bit more time. So, man, Thomas, bummed you got no power, man. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying it is cold out there. So hopefully we are past that. Hopefully the sun's going to come out, and I'm hoping we're been stuck here. I haven't been able to do that much. So I'm hoping I've been looking at the weather report like, man, let's get past this and get out and be able to ride some more and do some things. So, Hariz, the Bentonville Bike Fest, it's, Kenny Belay puts it on. He's an actual legend. Like, he is literally a legend, 10-time trials world champions from Belgium. Great dude, really good dude. It's a big festival to try to talk about, biking here, diversity and trails and riders. Just bring a bunch of stoke to what's going on here. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out, Google it, Bentonville Bike Fest. It's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be an incredible event. So if you're planning a trip out here, that might be a solid time to come out. So Pez Shreds, have you been to Whistler? Indeed, I have been to Whistler. I have made the pilgrimage. It was amazing. Whistler, it's just one of those places. It's Whistler. So it has this mystique about it that I don't know if any other place in the world does, at least not to me. So I went. It was incredible. I went with Rob, and we had a great time, and I've been wanting to get back ever since. So I don't know if we're going to be able to make it happen this year, but it's definitely on my radar to try to get back again and ride some more. We only rode at the park, and everybody talks about how amazing it is outside of the park. So I'll get back there soon. Colin Hodges, what's happening, dude? Todd from Napa. Hello from Napa. Rode the hell out of Bentonville and Rogers in December. Heck yeah, dude. I hope you got some good weather. Some of December was good. Some of December was really good. Joey asked, how much were you involved in shooting rad with Braden Bringhurst? I was around for a lot of it, and mainly what I tried to do was just support Braden. When he first came here a while ago to try to scout it out, I had some spots picked out for him, and we went around, and I just tried to support him as much as I could. I drove a camera vehicle, tried to line him up with some places to shoot because the weather was bad, made sure he was fed when he needed it, stuff like that. I mean, him and his wife are just incredible people, and the guy works so hard. I can't even begin to describe it. Like, my legs were cramping watching him film that. So it was awesome just to see a guy like that. I've been an athlete my entire life. I played a lot of different sports, and I've been in the gym a long time, and I've been around a lot of cycling athletes, and very few are as athletic as Braden Bringhurst. So that's one thing that I appreciate about Braden is part of why he can ride the bike like he does is because he is so athletic. So if you don't follow Biker Braid, make sure you do. And I don't know if it was in his stories or on his main feed, but he just posted a video. He was a pole vaulter. He was an elite pole vaulter when he was in college, and he just posted a video of him clearing just an incredible height. And it was pretty cool to watch, and it gives you a little bit more insight to how much of a true athlete Braden is. So yeah, Joey, Braden, he's just a rad dude. Like, just periodically texts to say hi and likes things that I post about the family. He's just a rad dude. So yeah, very, very good dude. All right, family gaming. Do you need a third bike? Of course you need a third bike. I don't think you need a third bike. You don't need a ransom. Sell the ransom and get a Spark. You're golden. Should you trade? Yeah, trade the scale for a Spark. No. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe trade the scale for the Spark. Yeah, I don't know. You can ride the hardtail if you want, but man, I don't know. Mr. B asks about bike parts shortages. You know, that's a funny one. I haven't watched that video that the CEO of Santa Cruz put out recently. They had the interview with him, and he talked a little bit about the shortages. This may sound, I don't know if it's short-sighted or irresponsible, but I have no control over that. I just don't. And I'm not going to worry about something that I have no control over. It's a bummer. And we're just in this really strange time that we have never been in and probably will never be in again. It's impacting a lot of people, and it's just difficult because I don't know that many people really know the answer. I think we just have to wait and see. And, you know, for me, thankfully, I'm in a position where I have bikes to ride. So I don't have to be concerned about that, thankfully. But it's a bummer because it's affecting what we're doing. And it's because of bikes and parts. You know, there's things that we want to plan, but we can't because we don't know when the parts of the bikes are going to come. So what we try to do is pivot and do what we can. And I think that's what everybody is going to have to do. It's a bummer for me because I see a lot of people getting taken for bikes, and it doesn't sit well with me. And I know that's going to rub some people the wrong way. My brother and I talked about it, but you know, if you have a bike to sell and under normal circumstances, it would be a $4,000 bike. All right. I could see, you know, get $4,500 for it. Good for you. You made an extra $5, but you know, people are selling things for like $55, $65, $70, $500. And again, it's just my opinion. It doesn't sit well with me. I would not do that. I've sold a few bikes recently and they were gone instantly. And people were like, man, you could have gotten a lot more for these. And I said, I didn't need to. I had what I need to get for the bikes, and that's what I got. So yeah, I think, I don't know. Hopefully things will get back somewhat to some normal. I don't know if it's ever going to be the same, and we're going to have to deal with it. Plain and simple. All right. As a pretty consistent local rider, do I need TRS 201 301 Apprentice? So yeah, I would say this is a great question for anybody asking. Do you need TRS 201 or 301 prior to signing up for the jump class? Need, I don't know. It's tough to say. Most people could use it. And this is one of those scenarios where it's really tough. Like, I have clinics posted, and I post the jump clinics just because everybody wants to jump. And my hope was people would read the verbiage and think, okay, maybe I should do something before that. Like the 201 and the jump is really good. And what we're seeing now is a decent amount of people just doing 201, 301. So what I've been telling people is if you do the 201 and the 301, solid 4 hours, nice hour break to eat, think about it, let it incubate, and then you come into 301 for another 4 hours. In that span, you're going to get at least 90 minutes of jumping, which is a lot. It's a lot, trust me, in that setting. And I've seen that do really, really well for people. But again, it's something that people are going to make their own decisions. I would love to see people do a 201 and a 301 and then come back and do a jump later. That's how I would like to see it done, because I think that's how you're going to get the best bang for your buck. It's a big investment. That's a lot of money. If you do all three of those, you're pushing 850, $900. If you do them in that order, I think you're going to get the most out of it, because jumping a bike, there's a lot to it, and you have to have your body in the right position. If your weight's not in the right position, you're not going to maximize what you're doing jumping. And so if we have to spend 2 hours of the 4-hour jump class trying to explain that, you're not going to get the solid reps. So that's my take on it. I hope that makes sense. It's a tough one, and it's going to be ever evolving. So my hope is people get it and they appreciate it. It's one of those things with the ride series. All I want to do is help people. It's my life. It's how I support my family. And obviously I have to make money, but anybody on here who's a business person can take a step back and look at the business model and go, dude, you're blowing it, man. You need to scale up. That's the only way it's going to work. And it's hard, because if I scale up, that means I have to bring somebody in that doesn't feel the same way I do about it. They're not as passionate as I am. So it's going to happen at some point. It has to, and it's going to get diluted. But my hope is, even if it gets diluted a lot, it's still going to be the best thing out there. So we will see. We will see. All right, Dan, I hope I didn't miss anything. Do I prefer Kohler or Slaughter Pen? Dan, that's a great question. It's crazy. I don't prefer one over the other per se. I just live on the east side of town. So when I leave my house, I drop into Ravine and I'm pretty much at Slaughter Pen. And so I spend the majority of my time there. Kohler's rad, and I'm trying to get over there more, but I would say I end up riding Slaughter Pen much more. I don't know if it's because I prefer it. It's just logistically, it's a little bit easier. But I think as the weather starts to get better, I'm going to spend more time riding over to Kohler. It's funny. Somebody said, Rich, don't ride no XC. I would like to be able to get out, like grab the Epic Evo and ride a little bit through Slaughter Pen, and then ride over to ride Kohler for a bit, and then come back, hit some more, and come home. So yeah, that's what I would like to do. And that's just fun. Go make a 25, 30 mile ride out of that. That's legit. There's just too much. That's the thing. Todd, tips or preferences on a first jump bike? Nothing, man. Todd, I got nothing for you. Sorry, dude. Never had a dirt jump bike in my life. All I jumped was 20-inch BMX bikes. I'd say whatever you can get your hands on, I would go for it. Oh, Micah, come on. If I could only have one bike, would it be an e-bike? I'll throw it back around on you. If you could only have one bike, would it be an e-bike? To everybody who's watching. And what's funny is the people who say no are the ones that have never ridden an e-bike. That's a tough question. It really is. I would say yes, but the caveat is it would be a Levo SL or something equivalent, like that new Orbea Rise apparently is very similar. But yeah, I'd be okay having an e-bike. I love the Levo. I love the SL. And for anybody who hasn't ridden either of those bikes, like a full e-bike is just a blast. It's very different. But the Levo SL is, it's the best of both worlds. That's the easy way to say it. But that bike is so much more regular bike than it is e-bike. And I love that. Like, I fell back in love with it when I was in Phoenix a couple weeks ago riding with Rob. It's so fun. It's like a burly trail bike, but you have this assist that you can use when you want. And when you throw on the range extender, you could just go do these huge rides and see so much and have fun. And you have a little bit more weight, but it's down low, so it's an advantage. So yes, I would say if I could only have one bike, I'd probably make it the Levo SL. Sean, ride series plans. Yes, we have. Anybody who's just coming on now, the Ride Series MTB. If you go check out the Ride Series MTB, we have a schedule up into May, and we're going to be dropping some more soon. We're working on some plans to do some traveling starting the end of June, July, August, September. So We don't have North Carolina on the schedule now, but I'm not saying it won't happen. So yeah, check that out. We'll keep adding more as we can, but what I'll tell you, Sean, is we're going to have quite a few scheduled here in Bentonville. And so I think it would be awesome to come here, do a ride series clinic, and spend some time riding. So look into that, possibly shoot us a message, info@therideseriesmtb.com. That's something I would like to see more people do. So if you're out there and you've been thinking about coming out, no better time than this year. So shoot me a message. I may even be able to get you a bike. You never know. So it's possible I might have a few Fazzaris in the garage that people can ride. So shoot me a message. If you're going to travel in from somewhere far, I'll do everything I can to get your bike and give you some guidance on where to ride. So definitely make it happen. What else do we got? Yeah, Andrew's talking about the Spark. Spark looks like a rad bike. I would love to ride one of those bikes. And it's funny because people keep asking about bikes. I'll ride every single bike I can get my hands on. So if there is a bike that you'd like to hear about, I'd love to ride it. What you have to do is send those people a message, an email, an Instagram, something like that. I can only do so much. I've asked a lot of people for bikes. Some people have been rad to respond and say, yeah, we'll get you a bike. Other people have responded. Rebels, prime example. People have asked, can you ride a Ranger in a large and let me know what that's like? Ride a Rascal in a large and let me know what that's like. They sent me a message and said, dude, we would love to give you each of those bikes in a large to ride. We literally have nothing. So as soon as they're available, I will get on one of those bikes and ride it. So I'm trying everything I can ride. I'm going to do it. There is a Scott Genius that's down in Texas waiting for me. So I'm excited to pick that thing up and get that out on the trails and ride that. So I'll do everything I can to give everybody the most input I can on bikes. I also want to keep riding bikes that are in that, we're going to call it more middle of the road price level. DaVinci just has the new one called the Marshall, where it's sub $2,000 bike. I really want to get one of those and ride it because that's realistic for a lot more people. And I don't see a need for $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 bikes. It's rad. If you can afford it, that's awesome. And yeah, they're fun to ride, but like Axis, I'd love to have Axis. I don't need it. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay without it. Somebody asked me about a spur. They were getting ready to buy a spur and they said, should I go X01 to save weight or go GX with a wheel upgrade? And I said, go GX with a wheel upgrade all day long. That's just me. Yeah, GX is a little bit heavier, but I don't really care. I don't think it would be that big of a deal. And I would prefer to go with the better wheel. So I've said it many times. I just love riding bikes. Doesn't matter to me. I'll ride anything. I don't care what spec it has, and I will have a blast. So, whoa, what do we got going on here? This thing is, I try to scroll down on these slowly, and oh, wait a minute. That's not. There are super passionate people out there, just not with the same skill set. Andrew, what are you referring to here? You're saying that what I said isn't true. Tell me what you're talking about, because there are super passionate people in the world. Definitely. Oh, I think you might be referring to YouTube people. Yeah, no, I am not ruling out anything like that. I would love to work with people when it makes sense, but there's just so much to it. Like, I've had a lot of people that have reached out and said, oh, let's do collabs. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's just hard. There's a lot going on in life, and to spend that time trying to make those things work it's just hard. So I would love to do it. Hopefully we can do some things. I have a list of people that I want to do some collaborations with. I talked about Danica, Hardtail Party, Dusty Betty. They're rad people. They've been through the ride series events before, and we did some stuff out here. So yeah, I'd love to have them come back. So yeah, I need to get better about seeing who's out there and getting I guess fostering a little bit more of a relationship with some of these people, because I don't know a whole lot of YouTube people out there. Like when Eric Porter came through, I met Eric. Like it'd be awesome to do something with Eric. The guy's rad, the guy's an amazing rider, but he's just a cool dude. His family's awesome. Things like that, initiatives like that, I would love to do some more of that. So yeah, we'll see. Joshua, have I ridden all the back 40s trails in a day? I have, man. I have. Yeah, it's, get some miles down, take it slow, have some fuel, have some hydration, and you can do it. The worst part about that is the potential for flats. So yeah, that's a fun one, and I'm going to get back out there soon. Definitely. Yeah, Jasper, that propane makes some rad bikes. I would love to get on some of those. There's a lot. Yeah, Dave, there's local bike shops would have rentals. You could certainly ship, but yeah, if you want to come out, and if it's you or if it's anybody, shoot me a message. Anybody out there watching, if you want to come out, shoot me a message. And if you're coming out for a ride series, I'll do everything I can to try to track bikes down. If I have some that are rideable, I'll definitely let you ride them, because I would love to have somebody come out. If you're spending all that money to come out here, least I can do is try to get you a bike, or at least get you some sort of a deal. So yeah, Mojo, Fat Tire, Go, Experience Center. There's a lot, definitely. Yeah, when bicycles are more expensive than motorcycles. Somebody was talking about that, how some e-bikes are more money than some dirt bikes. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. It's a tough one. What else do we got? We're saying you might have to hire people to upgrade your business, but it might dilute your mission. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's a great one. It won't dilute the mission, but right now the product is Rob and I and what we have. And I can bring in people to coach with us, and we could definitely bring them along. It's going to be difficult for them. I know they'll never feel about it the way I do. And for anybody who's been to a ride series clinic, this will resonate. I think you'll understand. I get fired up, Andrew. I get really fired up about this stuff. I'm into it. It's not just a job. I don't think, oh man, I'm doing this because I have to pay my bills. I do it because I love it. And I get really fired up, and I can't expect anybody to get as fired up as I do. And they certainly don't need to. But the problem is, what is the barometer? I don't think it's unrealistic for me to have the mindset that if I'm going to hire somebody, they should be as good a rider as I am. And that's tough, dude. I'm pretty decent on a bike. There's not a whole lot of people that are better than me on a bike that are in a position that I could hire to do this. There's a lot of people that are better than me on a bike. Dude, they're trying to race their bikes, or they're doing something else. So that's the first part of it. And do you have to be a great rider to be a good coach? You don't have to be, but in my opinion, you got to be pretty good. Part of what we do at the Ride Series is teach people about all these different scenarios. And if you haven't been in those scenarios, if you don't have that experience, it's hard. You can't speak about it. You can't speak about experience you don't have. And that's what it boils down to. So yeah, we're definitely looking to hire people. My wife and I were talking about it now. I would love to find somebody who's young, who's hungry, who has some talent on the bike, but also has the personality that we're after. Andrew, this is what I can guarantee. Like if you come to an event, I can't guarantee what percentage of growth you're going to have. Is it 20%? Is it 90%? I can't guarantee that. But what I can guarantee is you are going to have an amazing time. And I can guarantee that because that's my mission. I look at all those people in front of me and I make sure everybody's having a good time. And there's instances where people aren't, they're frustrated because somebody is progressing quicker than them, and they get upset. Like they get really frustrated by that. And I get it. And I have to see that. And some people are really good at hiding it. So I have to see that they're getting upset, and I have to find a way to not have them focus on the progress they're not making and get them out of that headspace so they can make progress. But then I have to find out, how do I do that? And that's the thing that's so important is, any given event, we have 12 to 15 people. They're not all the same. They're not going to get the message the same. So what we have to do is figure out how to get the message across to them. And that, I think, is the difference. That's a really, really important thing to think about. So yeah, we'll get somebody at some point. There's definitely some people. What else? Who are your least favorite YouTubers? I don't have any least favorite YouTubers. Rusty, are there any weird, goofy trails in Bentonville like Berm Creek? I don't know what Berm Creek is. But weird, goofy trails. Wait a minute, is Berm Creek something to do with Seth's bike hacks, right? I think. Somebody tell me if that's right. Weird, goofy trails. I don't know what would qualify as a weird, goofy trail. There's some amazing trails. Caleb, great question, man. Caleb's asking what I think about that YT Izzo. I've heard it's rad, and I would love to ride one. I don't know anybody at YT. I've asked a few different people, and nobody knows anybody, but it looks good. Like, it looks like very similar to what the Spurs got going on, but just a little bit more to it. So I would love to check that out. Micah, heck yeah, the Go Experience Center, also known as Gearheads. I think that they have S-Works SLs, so great place to go. Greg, what do you think about balancing racing versus riding for fun? Ooh, where's that balance point? That's a great one. I just did a podcast, Natural State Bikes, and we talked about that. I think that balance is going to be dependent on where you are in your life. Greg, you're a prime example, dude. You have a beautiful family. You have a career. You haven't been riding or racing bikes all your life. You do it for fun. You're a super competitive dude. And I think that should be a part of that game. But if things don't go well at the race, you leave it there, man. You shake it off and you look to the fact that you're there racing and you're having fun and you're enjoying yourself. If you have a family, I think that your training and your focus on racing should not negatively impact your family life. And if it does, I think you need to make some changes, regardless of where you're at. Like, even if you're riding at a pro level, if it's not what's paying all of your bills, then I think that you need to think about that. Especially Enduro. Enduro is the one that it's not designed for you to win. It's not. Until you get to the pro level, there's no parity. You could always argue until you get to the pro level, every amateur class, there's people or a person riding that class that shouldn't be riding that class. So it's not designed for you to win. And if you come in with the mindset of race yourself, prepare, put some due diligence in, train a little bit when you can, and go and try to have 10 clean stages. And I've said this many times. If I go to a race and I have 10 clean stages, like, I get done and I go, man, I rode really well. Whatever happens, happens. Let the chips fall, man. If that's a win, sweet, so be it. But if that means I'm fifth, that's what I had. And I'm good with that. I have no problem with that, And again, I've had a little bit of success racing, so it's easier for me to feel that way. But I just wish a little bit more people would not take it so seriously. Have fun, really, really have fun. Enjoy the camaraderie. There's a lot of great people at Enduros. It's just so fun. And I do miss that. It's funny talking about racing. I do miss that. The competition is great, but I just miss the people. I just miss being around that community. It's awesome. So, Joseph, we don't have any clinics in the Pacific Northwest. I'd really like to, and we'll try to make it happen. So keep your eyes out. We may make it happen. Suggest a women to teach at your ride clinic. I would love to have a female coach. Now, it's kind of funny. A good coach is a good coach. It doesn't matter if it's a male or a female, plain and simple. And that's what I come back to. We've had some of our best success at the ride series with female riders. And I don't believe women should teach women exclusively. I don't. And I've done events where it was nothing but women, and we've had amazing success. I think that if you're a good person if you're somebody who is confident in what you're doing, um, you have morals, like you're a good human, you can teach anybody. Doesn't matter where they come from. And I think that's very important. But I would love, for example, I would love for my wife to get into it enough where we can do an event for newer women riders and she can help shepherd them into the sport so that they can then move into an MTB 201 and I would get to work with them. And I think that's important because I want to see more people just on bikes in general, especially here. Like if you live in and around Northwest Arkansas, it should be a crime for you to not be on a bike. So whoever you are, race, religion, anything like that, whatever it takes for you to be more comfortable. And if that means your entry point as a woman is working with women to get you some best practices, I'm all for that. I'd love that. So yeah, I want to try to foster that. I want to try to do anything I can to help that. And that's part of why I'd love to do some videos with some of these incredible female riders that are in the YouTube space. And there's a lot of them. They're just awesome. They're great people. They want to help. They want to get more women riding. And the way they're going about doing it is awesome. Like, again, Danica. I've never met Danica Fife. Danica Fife, if you don't follow her, she's awesome. She's always posting how-tos like manuals and wheelies. And the way she does it is rad. You know, she just seems super approachable. She's very humble. By all accounts, she seems to be a great rider, and it's like she just wants to help other people. So I dig that. Claire, really excited to see you and get your training next month. I'm excited too, Claire. It's funny because her name is, my wife and I were talking about you, Claire, when she was answering the email. So yeah, this is a prime example of knowing your name because you emailed to get some private coaching and like communicating here now. It's just, this whole thing is just, it's crazy. It's awesome. It just talks about what bikes can do. It's just so cool. So yeah, I'm excited, Claire. You're going to have a blast. I promise you. Thomas, love short travel 29ers. Dude, who doesn't? Yeah, short travel 29ers are awesome. Dave, got to keep the integrity of your product. That's so funny, man. That's cherry picking right there, dude. But yeah, if you're a personal trainer, I don't know. It's a tough one. It really is. But yeah, I think integrity of the product and just sticking true to what I believe in, what I feel is right. You know, there's things that I teach, ways I teach it because I feel that it's the right way to do based on my experience. Now there's things that have changed. They've transformed a bit over time. You know, we've had clinics where people have given feedback about specific things to say to teach something and they've stuck. And I think that's important. I'm not beyond reproach. If somebody challenges me and they come at me with a better way to teach something or a different way to do it, I'm ready. I'm open. You know, I listened to a guy named Rob Wolf, and he's in the nutrition strength training space. And he talked about being a scientist and being a good scientist. What he said is he's always trying to disprove what he believes, not prove what he believes is true, disprove what he believes. And I think that's a pretty important thing, you know, and I've always tried to, like the flat pedals and turns things. I've asked everybody, tell me why. Tell me why it works and show me the best riders in the world doing it, because I've never seen it. And that's one of those things. So yeah, it's it's a very, very interesting thing. So what else do we got here? This thing. Okay. Thoughts on the Forbidden Druid? I've never ridden it. I know a guy who had one. He thought it was pretty cool. Robert asked, getting on a 21 stump jumper. I have actually got on an Evo and rode it for a little bit. We're trying to get that video out soon. I was supposed to have a 21 stump jumper and a 21 stump jumper Evo. They just don't have any. So when they get them, I'll hopefully have one soon. So you never know. Caleb, what size do I ride? You know, I ride a large in most things. It's tough now. Some bikes are getting bigger, like the Da Vinci Django. I had a medium in that, and I could have ridden a large, but then they changed it a little bit, so the reach got a little bit longer. So I would say definitely a medium in that. It's tough, and some other stuff like Specialized now with the Stumpy. They're not going small, medium, and large. It's S1, 2, 3, 4. So still trying to figure out that, but yeah, bike sizing is a whole nother topic. Crazy. So yeah, your girlfriend reminds you men and women are built differently. Weight distribution, definitely. So like bike suspension and stuff like that, but riding's riding. And so I don't think that there are any innate advantages to a woman teaching a woman or a man teaching a man. I think it's, are you a competent rider? Are you confident in what you're doing? And can you teach it? Can you convey it? So, yeah. Ewart says, looking for some wet, cold weather pants to ride in. Oh, that's a good question. I have a couple different pair that I dig. I have some from Zoic. It is there's two. There's the convertible pant, the black market convertible, the bottom zip off. I dig those. But I also like the commuter pant that they have. It's rad. It fits super tight. It stretches a lot. I also got very recently, Livsn, Livsn, is just shipped me some of theirs. Those are legit. I have not worn them, but I've talked to many people that have. So those are good. I know Fox makes some, but those are the only ones that I've ridden. So I would say look for what you can get. Find something that stretches a lot and has a tighter fit. And most of them will cover knee pads, especially if you have some low pro ones. So yeah, man, some great questions. I'm loving it. Oh, over an hour already. All right. Yeah, we got to wrap it up. Full face versus half shell. I can't argue with it's not an if, it's a when sort of thing. That's a tough one. Yeah, I generally wear the half shell quite a bit, but if there's any question, I'm throwing that full face on. And we're going to test out. We got 7 IDP sent us some of their new Project 23 full face helmets, so we're going to check that out and throw that into the mix of checking things out. So yeah. Reckless, not sure if you talked about this, but what point would you not sign up for the 301? 301, I think you're a pretty solid intermediate rider. The 201's a great class. I mean, we've literally had Olympians at the 201. Everybody gets a lot out of the 201. The 301 is designed for somebody who wants to go a little bit deeper with turns, lifts, drops, and jumps. So like a 201, 301 day, that is a solid day. And I think with that day, you're going to take what you get and you're going to carry that with you for a long, long time. And that's the hope with that. And I've tried to get that across to people is I don't want you to pay for 8 hours with me and Rob and Andy or whoever else is there. I want you to pay for what that 8 hours will give you for literally the rest of your life. And that's important. I want to try to arm you in that 8 hours or even the 4 hours if you just do one, arm you with enough information and enough understanding to take that and keep growing for a long, long time. It may be a bad business model, but I would love for you to take what we did in that day and never have to see you again. Or if I see you on the trail, it's with a giant smile on your face because you're telling me, dude, I'm riding way better than I thought I ever could. And I'm having way more fun than I ever could. So, we're going to end this. I'm going to pull something up on my phone because I'm pretty fired up about it. We got a video coming pretty soon and it's a little bit different. That's the beginning of it. I posted this on Instagram stories a couple days ago. I'm gonna post some teasers pretty soon. When that music comes in, I get so fired up. So that's it. That's all I'm going to show you. But I'm going to post a few more on Instagram soon, and it's looking like Saturday. we're going to premiere that video. So that's a fun one. A lot of cool stuff coming. Really excited. We're doing some cool stuff again this year with Specialized, with Fazari, some more stuff with Oz Trails, Bike Bentonville, Visit Bentonville. Just really trying to do as much as we can to make some really quality content and get out to do as many Ride Series clinics as possible and get enough people in there. So if you're looking to do a clinic, check it out at the rideseriesmtb.com. If you have questions, shoot us an email, info@therideseriesmtb.com. We're booking small group classes, ground schools, like mini clinics, and then trail time. We're doing private on trail time, curated guided tours, you name it. We're doing all of it. So if it's in our wheelhouse, we're going to do it. So shoot us a message. Let us know what you'd like. I'd love for people to come out and visit. This place is absolutely incredible. It's everything I and everybody else says it is. So if you're going to come out, I'd love to have you come out, do a clinic, or at least do some on-trail coaching or something like that and show you some of the good stuff. So hour and 6 minutes, not bad. But yeah, I'm going to check in with Mama Bear. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. This is great. I really love this. I want to do more of these. I like it. It's fun to answer all these questions. What I might want to do is get some solid questions in advance that we can build on a little bit, and then maybe spend like the first half doing that and then open it up over here. I just feel like I'm constantly looking over here and answering these questions in a rapid fire manner. I'd like to be able to dive into some more, a little bit more in depth. And I think when Rob comes on, we'll be able to do that a lot more. So anybody who's heard him, he's got a ton of input because he's just brilliant. And I love listening to him answer questions because it makes me better being around him by osmosis. So cool. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Be positive out there. Stay warm. If you're in Texas, you're in our thoughts, definitely. Hopefully the worst of this is over and we can get some of that spring weather here soon and get back on our bikes. So have a great night, everybody. Peace out, dumpers.